When the violin can forgive the past, it starts singing. When the violin can stop worrying about the future, you will become such a drunk, laughing nuisance that God will then lean down and start combing you into her hair. When the violin can forgive every wound caused by others, the heart starts singing. The words of the poem When the Violin were written in the 15th century by the Sufi poet Khwaja Shamsuddin Muhammad Hafiz Shirazi, commonly known in the West today as Hafiz. And as we think about this idea of forgiving the past, I could only imagine that we're overcome with impossibility. How can we forgive the past as the wounds of intergenerational trauma play out on the bodies of poor black and brown people in Los Angeles County today? And yet, forgiveness, true forgiveness, is not about forgetting. It's not about letting ourselves off the hook. Forgiveness is assuming an identity, a new identity, rooted in new possibility, rooted in more than the worst thing that ever happened to us, or the worst thing that we ever did to others. When we imagine that life of possibility, we are combed into community together. The incredible work of Inner City Law Center strives to restore the fundamental hope, dignity, and purpose to the lives of the most fragile and vulnerable Angelenos, as well as to our own civic calling to step into community today. Over this next hour, you're going to hear incredible stories, and hopefully you'll be moved to support the work of Inner City Law Center, not only financially, but with your souls. And as we write this story together, I cannot wait to witness the possibility of a more whole, a more connected, and frankly, more musical future. But in the meantime, it's my delight now to turn the microphone over to Inner City Law Center's incredible Executive Director, Adam Murray. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, VJ. Thank you for sharing your beautiful music with us and those inspiring words. And thank you to all of you for joining us today. Thank you for stepping into community with Inner City Law Center, especially in this year, 2020, a year like no other. This event for Inner City Law Center is like none that we have ever done before. We're coming to you instead of gathering in a ballroom from my home here. My internet actually just went out about 5 minutes ago, so I'm coming to you from a hotspot on my phone. So hopefully it all holds together. And I want to start by thanking my familial production crew, my wife, Amin, my daughter, Tara, my son, Kieran, who was taking an algebra test until the internet went out, will hopefully be joining us soon as well. So many people come together to make the miracle that is Inner City Law Center possible. And we will be thanking many of you today, and especially our honorees at Queen's Care and LATHAM and WATKINS. But I want to start where things always start for Inner City Law Center, with our clients. These are challenging times for all of us, but especially for our clients. We have a number of our clients with us today for this celebration. And to you, I want to say thank you. I want to thank you for your resiliency, for your perseverance, which are inspirational to all of us. I want to thank you for choosing us to represent you. We are honored to be your lawyers. And so with no further ado, let's hear from just a few of the thousands of clients that Inner City Law Center has represented in the past year.
I was struggling with a lot of stuff, and I didn't want my benefits to stop because that's all I had.
We basically needed help because we didn't want to get evicted.
When I went to the VA, it seemed like everything just closed doors.
I had an addiction problem, and I was literally on the streets. When I didn't get my medicine, or when I didn't get my routine, things would stir up for me. And adding substance and mental health disorder to the mix, it adds fuel to fire. And here you are trying to support yourself with just the bare minimum of what the government give you as your own benefits, let alone you take it away from me and say, now survive.
When SHAVON came to us at Inner City Law Center, she was dealing with a number of legal issues. Her disability benefits have been terminated.
When we finally went down to the Social Security office to explain ourselves, it got me irritated. But because Sarah was there, it made it easier. It was like she had a human side.
Working with government agencies can be very exasperating, frustrating, challenging. It takes a lot of perseverance to continue navigating the system, not giving up. Eventually we got her Medicare reinstated, and they agreed to reimburse her on the premiums that they'd been charging her out of her benefits.
When everything was said and done, Miss Sarah gave me a call and said, hey, they reinstate you back on. I was like, yeah, I've done it. it wasn't for Sarah, I wouldn't be here in front of y'all right now. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Inner City Law. Thank y'all for allowing me to come to y'all with everything.
Al principio, primero decía que eran muchas personas en el cuarto. Después dijo que la renta. Yo me negué rotundamente porque era demasiado lo que estaba pidiendo de renta. Después dijo que no podía cocinar. Pues, para ser honesta, sentí mucho coraje e impotencia porque ver cómo ella, al abrirle la puerta, ella se metió como Juan por su casa y empezó que esto no quiero aquí, trastes, todo, empezó que el tostador, todo me sacó.
I feel that the world fell on top of us when we received the papers. It was just heartbreaking for me to having to tell my mom, like, you know, this is going on. What are we gonna do? Where are we gonna start? We don't have any money. I felt small at the moment. I felt helpless.
So the health and safety violation they were alleging Norley committed was that her family was cooking in the unit. At the hearing, which was done over the phone basically, the judge at first was looking at their moving papers and said, well, you can't cook in a motel. I said, as I notified the judge, this was not a motel, it was a residential hotel, that they've been there for many years, were cooking for many years, and there was no public health and danger issue at all. So we were able to stop the steamrolling of Noelle and her family's eviction, and especially during the time of the pandemic, which was not needed to go forward that quickly. Tenants need to be housed. We have local, state authorities with the, issuing stay-at-home orders saying how important it is to stay at home. Well, how can you stay at home if you're being evicted?
Knowing that someone was helping us in the moments that we needed them more, it just felt so relieving. We're in a better place now.
I joined the Navy in October of 1985. I want to be a pilot. I want to be a Navy pilot. When I left, they didn't approve of something that they said I did in the military. It was a bad conduct discharge. After Navy, I like I said, found myself homeless and heavily on drugs. Well, when I first came to Inner Law Center for help, I came here because I wasn't getting through to the VA about my condition.
I first met Mr. Holman in July of 2019. I received the records from his time in service, and it was clear that he had experienced mental health symptoms in service. He had acted out as a result of experiencing those symptoms. He was treated in service, and then he was removed for having those symptoms. The VA refused to acknowledge that for 30 years. Rather than just providing him with the health care and the benefits and the services that he needed.
I applied again, they said no. I applied again, the VA said no. I applied again, the VA said no.
Filing an appeal is challenging as it is, but having to file appeal remotely, we had to use all of the resources that we had at our disposal. Even with all of those challenges, I was able to submit an appeal about 1 day after our office closed. Exactly 9 days later, we got a response and they granted Mr. Holman's claim.
For where I used to be and where I'm at now, this is beautiful. I don't want to go back to that lifestyle. I really don't. And I'm not going back to that lifestyle. I'm going to keep pushing forward. I got big dreams and goals.
Everybody deserves the law on their side. And I felt like Inner City Law Center, y'all rock, man. So, thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Hawkins, Mr. Holman, and the Robles family for sharing your stories with us today. Inner City Law Center story begins 40 years ago when Nancy Minty graduated from law school at UCLA and moved to the Catholic Worker Soup Kitchen in the Skid Row neighborhood of Los Angeles, what we call the Hippie Kitchen. I'm pleased to tell you that we already have over 725 people on the call today and more joining every moment. And for each of you, LexisNexis will be donating 5 meals to the Hippie Kitchen. Now today, 40 years after Inner City Law Center's founding, we continue to do much the same work that Nancy did when she started. We continue to work on housing and homelessness issues, and we continue to work with people who are on the streets to help them identify resources and connect with resources that will let them move into housing, and to work with precariously housed families that are struggling to hold on to their housing and to remain not homeless. Although we are still located in our Skid Row neighborhood, we now provide services throughout LA County with over 100 staff at Inner City Law Center, including over 50 attorneys. This growth, this expansion of services has only been possible because of the generosity of so many of you who are with us today, and we truly appreciate it. Today's event, you will see, if you scroll down below this video, you'll see the sponsors for today's event. Thank you to all of you for making this such a success. I'm pleased to report that as of 12:30 this morning or 12:30 this afternoon, we had raised just over $700,000 from this event. Now, if we were gathered together in a ballroom, this would be where I would have to pause for the applause. But we would not pause for long, because as wonderful as that is and as credible of an achievement and what it will allow us to do at Inner City Law Center, unfortunately, it's still a drop in the bucket compared to the 66,000 people who are homeless tonight, the hundreds of thousands who are struggling to remain housed. So at Inner City Law Center, we are always striving to do more. And I think that's part of why you love us and part of why you are all part of the Inner City Law Center family. And today is no exception. We are virtual, but we're going to do something we've never done before. We're going to raise $100,000 together at today's event. So to help us do that, we have $50,000 in matching funds. Our board of directors has agreed to match the first $25,000 that we raised today. And Bob and Eileen O'Leary have agreed generously to match the second $25,000 that we raised today. So if we can raise $50,000 at this event, those matches will mean an additional $100,000 to power the work of Inner City Law Center, and a total of over $800,000 raised from this event. So if I can have somebody pull up on the screen the text to give process, those of you who have been with us before know how this works. This is the time when you get to pull out your phone, and even if you've already generously given, think about whether or not you can dig a bit deeper and give a little bit more. The way you do that is by texting a pledge to the following number, 41444. And the message you're going to send to that number is ICLC Awards, all one word, ICLC AWARDS, space your donation amount. This is where you write 10,000 or 10 million or $10, whatever you're able to do, space, and then your name. If you want, you can put another space and a message after that, but the essential part is ICLC Awards, space, dollar amount, space, your name. And then you hit send. So the results of this are showing up, and I see them coming in already, showing up on our event screen just below this video. Now, we're going to not spend a lot of time right now, since we want to keep things moving and we're here virtually together. We are going to keep this event moving along, but we're going to check back in periodically to see how we're doing with our text to give effort. Next up, I have for you a very special treat. 5 years ago, I had the opportunity to take a bus tour with the Mississippi Center for Justice of a number of civil rights sites in Mississippi. One of the places we visited was the home of Myrlie and Medgar Evers. And I stood in that carport where Medgar was shot almost 60 years ago today. About a month ago, not today, sorry, about 60 years ago, 1963. About a month ago, I had the opportunity to sit down with Mrs. Myrlie Evers and discuss a whole bunch of things. She's an amazing woman, a civil rights icon. It was truly an honor for me to spend time with her. And what we have for you today is just a bit of that conversation where Mrs. Evers talks about homelessness.
As I read the news coverage on people who are homeless, who have no place to stay, who have no hope of finding a place to stay. On a personal basis, my heart goes out to them. I try to put myself in that space and ask myself, what would I do? How would I deal with the loneliness? How would I deal with the lack of cleanliness? How would I deal with hopelessness? How would I adjust to it? Not only how would I adjust to it physically, but how would I adjust to it mentally? What would I have to do to myself to say, this is your life. You've got to survive. Do you give up hope on everything? Do you give up hope on mankind? Help from people in the cities? I haven't found an answer. As we called ourselves, we lived in a land of milk and honey, but not everyone has a chance to devour it. So I, as a blessed person, if I might call it that, I find myself wondering, what can I do to help? What can I do? That doesn't answer the problem. And the problem is with me and others like us and organizations such as yours and others to help. I hear people offer their opinions of those who are homeless. And in some cases, they do it without a sense of gratitude for what they already have, with no desire to share. How do we reach those people? How do we come together as humanity to see that those things don't exist? I don't drive any longer. Oh, I wish I did. But at this age, they told me, no, you don't need to. I'm ready to take off in a speedster, you know? But being driven along the freeways in California, and with eyes seeing the sadness on the faces of people who are homeless. And I would imagine some of them were once probably well known, had very good jobs, had homes, had families. Something happened along the way where they lost that. How fortunate we are, those of us who already have that. Don't we owe those who don't a little bit of something? A sharing of some of what we have to help them? There is always the ground key of people who are interested in change, of getting involved. The more attention, I believe, the more attention that the public can give to an issue such as this, or will give to an issue such as this, the better off all of us would be. I feel extremely sad about it. I also feel vulnerable. Just because one might be comfortable today does not necessarily mean tomorrow that you will be. I guess what I'm saying is support an organization such as yours, who's out there doing the hard work, and get more involved. I would ask people who would be like me, I don't mean color, heart, to think about it seriously. We're all human beings. I believe that there is space, food, enough of everything to satisfy all of our basic needs. I don't know what I can say beyond that, except that it is a human problem. And all of us who claim to be human should be involved in trying to solve that. So my congratulations to you and your firm for doing what you do so well. Stay in touch.
Thank you very much. What can I do? Mrs. Evers asked me why I do what I do with working at Inner City Law Center. I told her about a time and a conversation that I had with my father when I was about 11 or 12 years old, about a book called Night by Elie Wiesel. My father told me that when he first learned about the Holocaust, it forever changed for him what it meant to be human. Learning that people were capable of such horrors, committing such horrors towards one another, changed the very nature of what humanity was for him. Now, I'm an optimist, and so I took, of course, a positive message from that. What I learned from that was that we get to define humanity. By our choices, individually and collectively, we get to define who we are as human beings. And if we don't like something in the world, if we don't like the poverty that we see, if we don't like the racial injustice that we see, if we don't like the homelessness that we see, we have the power, again, individually to some degree and collectively to a great degree, to change that and to define humanity in a way that we are proud of. By being here today and by supporting Inner City Law Center, you are helping to define humanity in Los Angeles and define humanity more generally in a way that we can all be proud of. Inner City Law Center fights for racial justice. 87% of our clients are people of color. Inner City Law Center fights for justice for people living with disabilities. Over 1/2 of our clients live with disabilities. And we fight for justice for homeless veterans. 22% of our clients are veterans. For each of our clients, we ask a question that's very similar to the one that Mrs. Evers asked. What can we do? What can we do to put our clients on a pathway to stable housing, to safe housing, affordable housing, long-term housing that will enable them to live lives of dignity and respect as everyone should? Now, when we answer that question at Inner City Law Center, it usually leads us to work either directly on a housing issue, helping someone sue a slumlord, resist an eviction, navigate a Section 8 issue, or help somebody to access benefits, either monetary or healthcare benefits, or sometimes other benefits that will enable them to move off the streets into housing or to remain stably housed. And whatever your role, whether you're a board member, a staff member, a client, a volunteer, a donor, whether you're one of our partner organizations, you are helping us to change individual lives, but you are also helping us to define humanity in a way that we can all be proud of. So with that in mind, I want to take a quick look. We're up to $22,000 raised. We're almost at the halfway point. So please keep those texts coming. We're going to move now to the next part of our program, which is to celebrate our two fabulous honorees. And our first honoree, our humanitarian honoree, is the law firm of LATHAM and WATKINS. I'm not going to say much about LATHAM or about Queen's Care because we have videos that are going to do that quite well. But I will just say in introducing LATHAM that for over 2 decades, LATHAM has been a go-to pro bono partner for Inner City Law Center, always doing whatever it is we ask them to do to help us and our clients. And so it is a great joy to be able to present them with the Humanitarian Award today.
This year, we are so excited to present our Humanitarian Award to the law firm of LATHAM and WATKINS. For more than 20 years, LATHAM has been our steadfast supporter and zealous pro bono partner. In that time, their skilled lawyers and paralegals have fought unlawful evictions, accessed safe and affordable housing, helped veterans get vital VA benefits, and fought for justice for the most vulnerable among us. They have made a tremendous difference in the lives of our clients, and we are so grateful.
LATHAM and the Center have co-partnered on pro bono matters for more than 20 years. It's been a great relationship. We've worked on many matters over the years of all different kinds. The highlight absolutely for me is the Pineda case, which grew out of a collapse of a slum apartment in Echo Park. It killed Juan Pineda, injured his wife, 2 children, about 30 other people, and left more than 70 people homeless. LATHAM and Watkins contributed thousands of hours of lawyer time and staff time. We had our secretaries and our paralegals, Spanish-speaking in particular, helping in the trenches. It brought the office together, brought the firm together. We have a duty to pitch in, contribute our talent, our expertise, and our financial resources. We clearly can make a difference. We balance the scales a bit when we join the case, and we have a duty to do it.
We successfully settled a slum housing case that we filed on behalf of 49 tenants who live here in downtown Los Angeles. That case was in partnership with our pro bono partner, LATHAM and Watkins.
Las condiciones del edificio de la demanda era muy terrible. Cucarachas, ratones, basura que no levantan. Un tiempo nos quitaron el agua. La otra condición donde más nos afectó es el gas, que nos quitaron por 2 semanas también. Cuando no teníamos gas tuvimos que ir a comprar comida. Cuando no teníamos agua, mis hijos tengo que llevarlos a un restaurante para ir a sus necesidades.
So when the residents of the building began organizing and speaking up against their landlord, the landlord responded by retaliating them and harassing the tenants. So he would follow the tenants to our offices, and the landlord also would try to illegally evict some of the tenants.
Hacemos la queja, teníamos miedo que nos puedan correr a todos, podían perder el caso, pero nuestros abogados y la abogada que nos ayudó nos dijo, no tengas miedo, tienes mucho que ganar tú porque lo que están haciendo no está bien. Entonces, gracias a ellos estamos ahora bien.
Thankfully, we settled the case with a large settlement for our clients and also court-mandated repairs for our clients' individual units and also the building's common areas. Our partnership with the LATHAM team was very pivotal in getting a successful outcome for our clients. Without their help and their resources, we wouldn't have had the success we did in this case. So thank you, LATHAM and Watkins.
It's such an honor to be here today, albeit virtually, but an honor nonetheless. I'm incredibly proud to accept this humanitarian award on behalf of LATHAM and all of our attorneys and paralegals and other staff that have worked so hard in partnering with ICLC to address and solve our city's housing and homelessness crisis. This is a hugely important partnership and client relationship for LATHAM. It goes back over 20 years. And I thought on this occasion it would be good to take a look actually at what the partnership has been in numbers for us. So I'll try not to bore you too much, but very quickly, we have been partnered with ICLC for 25 distinct matters, nearly 100 LATHAM lawyers, providing nearly 12,000 lawyer hours over that 20-year period. In addition, we've had 75 other service providers and professionals provide an additional 6,000 plus non-attorney hours to the matters we partner on with ICLC. And we are just incredibly proud and thankful for all of those at LW who have contributed to this relationship, and for ICLC and all the people there who have made this possible and who pursue this key mission in our city of solving housing and homelessness. So I can't say it enough. We're just incredibly proud and thankful for the partnership ICLC has provided us and for this award that we're receiving today. So on behalf of LATHAM and all of the people here who have partnered and worked toward this partnership with ICLC, thank you sincerely.
Thank you, Larry, and thank you to LATHAM for all you do to support the work of Inner City Law Center. Thank you also to Dan for pointing out that my hair is getting long. I appreciate that as well. LATHAM is a fabulous example of how Inner City Law Center relies so heavily on the generosity of the private bar in Los Angeles. Each year, approximately $10 million worth of legal services is donated by volunteers in addition to the work that Inner City Law Center staff does directly. I also want to make sure that everybody with us here today is aware of an effort that we launched a few years ago to provide opportunities for non-lawyers to volunteer, both with Inner City Law Center and with many of our partners. That effort is homeful.la. And if you visit www.homeful.la, www.homeful.la, you'll be able to see how you can plug in. Now, we're at just over halfway on our text to give, and I've been informed that a lot of people are giving not through the text mechanism, but just directly through the website, through our Classy page, which is wonderful. And we're trying to wrap that in here so we can keep track of where we are. So we might be a little bit ahead of what's showing on the screen. But please keep those donations coming. This is where in the program I'm supposed to pause, provide just a little bit of awkward silence so that people have an opportunity to pull out their phones and might just feel a little bit inspired to do a little bit more. So if we were live, this is where I would make a joke like Dorothy did a few years ago about locking the doors and not letting people out until we hit our goal. But since we're not live, I have a better idea. You met earlier in this program, or at least heard from, Ms. SHAVON Hawkins, one of our clients. In the filming of that video, she asked whether or not she could address you directly today. And so we have, from her Project Room Key hotel room, on her cell phone, Ms. SHAVON Hawkins.
Good afternoon. My name is SHAVON Hawkins. Thank you for fighting with me and for me. As someone who lived on the streets, I'm here to tell you that efforts to support homeless people are inadequate and require immediate increase in response. And because of high populations of seniors and people with high persisting health conditions, homeless residents of Skid Row and encampments throughout the county are more likely to be victims of COVID-19. Yet, despite some initial efforts in some areas, public resources remain insufficient. So I, one of many, say, next to none, lawyers and paralegals like pro bonos at Inner City Law Center, ICLC, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please help donate. Today, right now. Thank you.
Thank you, SHAVON. Everything that we do at Inner City Law Center, we do in partnership with others. We do almost nothing by ourselves. And that's why the Catherine Krause Award is so special to us, because we get to honor one of our partners and celebrate what they bring to our work. This year, I should mention Catherine Krause, for those of you who don't know her, was a legal aid attorney here in Los Angeles and a member of Inner City Law Center's board. This year, our Catherine Krause Award recipient is Queens Care, and we are honoring them because of their unyielding and consistent commitment to providing excellent health care to everyone who needs it, regardless of their ability to pay and regardless of their immigration status.
I'm Barbara Hines, President and CEO of Queens Care, a faith-based organization with a long history of providing accessible, quality health care to the Los Angeles communities in need. Originally founded by the Franciscan Sisters of the Sacred Heart, our mission of compassion and accessible health care continues today. Queens Care's current structure was created in 1998 following the sale of its hospital, Queen of Angels Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center. As a community organization, Queens Care provides and funds preventative and primary care to working poor families, immigrants, undocumented individuals, and vulnerable Los Angeles County residents.
Queen's Care touches the lives of thousands of Angelenos, funding nearly $20 million in healthcare programs and services each year, and making the City of Angels a little healthier, one patient at a time.
For more than 100 years, Queen's Care has provided its services directly and in collaboration with others, like our partner organization, Queen's Care Health Centers. Queen's Care's mobile dental and vision programs bring free on-site dental and vision care to Los Angeles Unified School District campuses, where 75% or more of the students qualify for the federal free or reduced lunch program.
Children cannot succeed in school if their teeth hurt or if they can't see the board. Queen's Care mobile programs bring services right to the child at school.
Sometimes they come to us with tape on their glasses, or their glasses are broken and they're really having a hard time, and when they put on their new pair of glasses, they are so happy.
Queen's Care Health and Faith Partnership has been partnering with various faith communities in Los Angeles since 1992.
We do a lot of health education. We will align people with services. So if someone is uninsured, or they don't have a doctor or nurse practitioner who they see, we'll try to connect them either to a Queen's Care Health Center, or we'll direct them to another institution that will meet their needs.
Queen's Care's mental health program has been subcontracting with Children's Hospital of Los Angeles for over a decade to provide services to children up to the age of 18 focused on anxiety, trauma, depression, and disruptive behavior. The program has helped thousands of low-income and underinsured children and families across Los Angeles County.
Our clinicians provide individual therapy, family therapy, and try to link the families to different resources in the community, because some of our families come with low income, low resources, and so we try to provide as much service as we can.
Queen's Care recognizes the impact of spirituality and healing. The Pastoral Care Division provides spiritual support and counseling to patients of Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center. Ministers of many faith traditions work with doctors and nurses to provide an essential element of whole person care.
The most important thing as being a chaplain is being present.
Beyond our work in the community, Queen's Care also offers charitable grants to nonprofit healthcare agencies and scholarships to individuals pursuing health degrees who are committed to making a difference in low-income communities in the city of Los Angeles.
Receiving the Jean and Marilyn Nuziard Scholarship has been extremely important to me. I've always dreamed of becoming a doctor, and my parents immigrated to the United States from Mexico and worked as farm workers in the Central Valley, and so they weren't able to support me financially, but they always encouraged me to pursue my dreams, every single one of them.
It is often the little things that can make a difference in the lives of those who are struggling. At Queen's Care, like Inner City Law Center, we are committed to caring for the vulnerable in our community, whether it is providing health care directly to Los Angeles low-income and underinsured residents through our programs in partnership with Queen's Care Health Centers, or through charitable giving. Never has this commitment been stronger than it is today. On behalf of Queen's Care, its board and staff, I'm honored to accept the Catherine Krause Award from the Inner City Law Center. Queen's Care and Inner City are aligned since we both strive to help the underserved, give voice to the overlooked, and respond to those in need. Queen's Care's mission, begun by the Franciscan Sisters of the Sacred Heart, spans a century of service. However, my sense is that Queen's Care tends to fly under the radar, and that many of you have not heard of us before. While the video helps tell our story, let me briefly tell you who you honor today. This award goes to the parish nurses who gladly wash the feet of the homeless, chaplains who minister to the lost and lonely, dental, nursing, and mental health professionals who provide care to those who would often go without. Like many essential workers, my colleagues are on the front lines now fighting the COVID-19 pandemic with bravery and skill. Over Queen's Care's 120-plus year history, our organization has faced challenging times ranging from the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918 to the political and social turmoil of the 1960s. However, this pandemic is truly unprecedented and calls on each of us to do our part for our community. Clearly, Inner City Law Center does that every day. Your presence today and your support of ICLC, especially during this strange time, could not be stronger testimony to the fact that you are doing your part as well. I thank you again for this great honor. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you, Barbara, and thank you to Queen's Care for the excellent service that you provide to the same clients that we serve. I'd like to throw back up the instructions for the text to give if I can one last time. We're about 2/3 of the way towards our goal. And just so everybody knows exactly how to do this and nobody has any challenges, you want to send a text to 41444 with your message, ICLC Awards, all one word. Sometimes that will autocorrect for you, so you have to play with it a little bit. Space, dollar amount, space your name. Please keep those contributions flowing. In addition to raising money for powering Inner City Law Center's work, and in addition to recognizing our honorees, this event is also an opportunity to celebrate so many of the people who come together to make the miracles that happen at Inner City Law Center possible. And this would be the point in the program where, if we were live, I would be asking our staff to rise and to be recognized. These little over 100 men and women are incredibly talented, incredibly dedicated, and provide amazing services day in and day out to our clients. This year in particular, I have been so pleased and so proud to see how you have all stepped up, how creatively you have stepped up in the midst of a world that's turned topsy-turvy. It was topsy-turvy even before March, but even more so in March, when all the systems that we help our clients to navigate got turned upside down. The court systems, the government benefit systems, everything changed. And to see how quickly, how creatively, what perseverance and dedication you brought to quickly, pretty much immediately, transitioning to new worlds on a daily basis and ensuring that our clients were taken care of and got the best possible representation. It is an honor to be your executive director. I'm always proud to be the executive director of Inner City Law Center, but never more so than in 2020. I also want to thank our incredible board of directors, 35 men and women, including the leadership, Janet Combs, Elliot Gordon, Marshall Camp, and Alejandra Velasquez, for your setting of the strategic direction for this organization and ensuring that we have the resources to carry out our mission. One of the things that our board does each year is appoints or selects a group of folks to serve as our luncheon committee. And this year, the people who signed up for that task did a marvelous job despite great challenges, led very ably by Dave Walsh and Beth Wilson, to put on what is turning out to be a very successful event despite my internet troubles due to the little hotspot here that could. So I want to thank our luncheon committee and Beth and Dave in particular. I also want to thank the staff internally and externally who have come together to put on this event. An enormous amount of work goes in to both the solicitations for support and then the actual coordinating of the event and putting together the content for the day. So to our team, Kim Peach, Alex Wallace, Randy Banau, Elizabeth Woods, and Courtney Robbins, thank you for all you've done to make today such a success. And now for all of you, we have a quick thank you video from the staff of Inner City Law Center.
Thank you for choosing Inner City Law Center, where dedicated and compassionate pro bono partners are a lifeline for our clients.
Muchas gracias por acompañarnos y gracias por su apoyo para defender los derechos de inquilinos para vivir en una vivienda sana y justa.
Thank you for supporting Inner City Law Center. With your support, we'll continue to provide comprehensive care to homeless veterans through a medical legal partnership with the West Los Angeles VA Medical Center.
Thank you for supporting Inner City Law Center and for standing in solidarity with Angelenos who are currently experiencing homelessness and at imminent risk of homelessness.
Thank you for supporting our clients with disabilities. Together, we'll continue fighting alongside them to get the benefits that they're entitled to and deserve.
On behalf of the eviction prevention team, we want to say thank you for your support. We also want to thank you for standing up for low-income tenants who are fighting back against illegal and unjust evictions during these very difficult times.
Hi everyone, Dion from the policy team here. Just wanted to sincerely thank you for supporting public policies that provide long-term solutions in our fight to end homelessness. Thank you for working to upend the status quo and towards building communities that serve everyone. Just wanted to extend a heartfelt thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Take care.
Thank you for joining us in the celebration of Inner City Law Center this afternoon. Your ongoing support is critical to our ability to provide excellent service to our clients.
And on behalf of Homeful.LA, Inner City Law Center's volunteer and advocacy program, thank you for your support. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. I just received a wonderful text from one of our former board members who would like to remain anonymous, but he will be donating another $5,000 towards our match here today. So that puts us just over $40,000 and well towards our goal of $50,000 today, which would then be matched at another $50,000. So please don't stop now. We still have time to push a little bit more. Even when you leave today, if you were inspired by what you hear, we'll send out a link so that you can share the content that you heard today with others. And please ask others to contribute as well. So thank you for attending. Thank you for supporting Inner City Law Center. Thank you for supporting our fight for housing and our fight for justice.